Aflatoxic. That's okay. Listen properly. Aflatoxin, but aflatoxicosis. I've had to learn how to say it. You're saying it doesn't sound hard, but you're failing to pronounce it. Welcome back to another week, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Drum roll. Zambia, what a day. This is episode 5, the first of this week. It's Monday, the 19th of August, 2024. My name is Dingindaba Jonah Buyoya. Welcome to our podcast. We do this Monday to Friday. We are running through the biggest news stories on that day in Zambia and around the world. And that's why we say it's an exhausting day. Let's start off with taking a look at what's coming up. Did I say what my name is? Okay, cool. I said what my name is, and people know my name now. So we've got an established rapport. What's coming up in the news? Yeah, dogs dying, contaminated dog food, and big question on contaminated Mealie meal. And that's what we'll be getting into. Aflatoxins, aflatoxicosis. We have been carrying out an investigation as Diamond TV since Friday last week, and we are revealing what's going on with these dying dogs and some of these Mealie meal that is contaminated. We've got the details into that, and we'll spend a bit of time in this episode explaining what exactly this story is about. We also talked about a Nyimba fishing campfire where about 200 families lost their homes. They're receiving support from the government. We'll get into detail into that. The Socialist Party is making news. They're getting a lot of resignations, but their president says that they're not in a crisis. Are they not? We get into that as well. The Mwanawasa family has received a commitment from the president that they'll be receiving support. But the biggest side of this story is that today is the day that the former First Lady Maureen Mwanawasa is being put to rest. She is being buried on the same day of her husband's memorial. He died in 2008 on the 19th of August. I'll be giving you details into that story. Let's start off, first of all, with aflatoxicosis. On Friday, a Diamond TV investigation that we carried out revealed that there is an aflatoxin poisoning scandal that is currently on the street. It started off with dogs because there's several dogs that have died. You may be wondering what aflatoxins are. So these are formed by some type of mold. And, from this mold, this specific type of mold produces a toxin. Now, there are different types of mold, a fungi, and this specific one has a toxin. And this toxin, the mold can die, the fungi can die, but the toxins remain in that maze, and they can be quite dangerous to human beings and, as has been witnessed, very dangerous to dogs and animals. Now, so let's start off. This story started off with this. First of all, we have to mention there's a lot of families that have come forward and are talking about how their dogs have been sick. The ones, especially the ones that they've been giving dog food. But there's also some families that have reported their dogs being sick in the past few weeks, and I think about a month, because of contaminated Mealie meal that they have been fed. So how does this come about? One facility, the Zambezi Animals Welfare Society, Services rather, lost 34 dogs and counting. These dogs were fed dog food. This dog food came from Farm Feed. And Farm Feed is a feed company. And this feed company did clearly indicate that part of their consignment that they had put on the market had been contaminated. And what they did after realizing that their feed and the supply that they put in the market had been contaminated, they recalled it. There's a statement to that effect, and the statement indicated that they were recalling these pellets, and this was if people had not already fed their dogs this feed. And they were committing that they were going to pay back, they were going to refund people that were going to take back this dog food. But the thing is, 34 dogs from Zambezi Animals Welfare Services had already died, but they were not the only ones. We've managed to talk to several vets, these clinics, and they've clearly told us that they continue reporting these cases. The Veterinary Association of Zambia has also confirmed to us the cases of aflatoxins. How do we know this? Most recently, we spoke with a vet doctor who explained to us that they have been carrying out, we're not going to reveal the identity of this doctor, but they've been carrying out post-mortem of the dogs that have been dying. And when they do the autopsy, they find that the dog died from toxins, aflatoxin. And so this has been confirmed from various vets who have been 100% sure of what's causing the death of these dogs. I mean, you would agree with me that losing 34 dogs in a space of 2 to 3 weeks is unnatural. And so this is what has raised the concern. So a lot of families have told us also that they thought, if you've got one dog and your dog dies, you probably will think it's just your dog. But the ones that have been going to the vet, when they get there, they find that they're not the only ones with such a complaint. And the vet is going to tell them that there's a surge in the numbers of people that are bringing their dogs presenting these symptoms. And the unfortunate thing is a lot of these dogs are dying. But then we find a peculiar case. So we've established now that the dog food is contaminated. And just to add context to this, it is nothing sinister, because I see a lot of people trying to, we're confusing the fact that it's regarded as poisoning, as somebody deliberately putting these toxins into the dog food to kill the dogs. No, it's because of the maize, the storage most of the time, that creates this mold. And the mold, the fungi, can produce toxins, aflatoxins, which can be quite acute, quite dangerous, right? So we put that into context. So, which is probably the reason why the company, one of the companies, Farm Feed, recalled this their consignment. But that's the starting point. At this point, they recall, the conversation is ongoing. In fact, government is made aware of this, and they start putting up these measures to deal with this problem. A different dynamic presents itself. One example is of a lady called Nora Small, I beg your pardon. She had 12 dogs. These 12 dogs, which she doesn't feed dog food. She feeds them Mealie meal. She says it's roller meal. So what does she do? She consistently buys a certain brand, but she goes to, and I'll get to why we're not talking about brands. She goes to the supermarket, buys a bag of Mealie meal, and takes it home. This bag of Mealie meal is intended for her dogs. So she usually cooks shima and feeds it to her dogs, her 12 dogs. And this week, she eats the same shima with the roller meal, which is super bitter. But also, there's a lot of people that have reached out to us and talked about this bitter meal. And we can confirm that we also reached out to the Zambia Bureau of Standards, who confirmed reports of this bitter Mealie meal on the market. The relationship between the two is that dog food is also made from cornmeal, which is maize. So in the words of one of the vets, if the dog food is contaminated, then you have to look at the human food, because these consume pretty much the same source. This lady feeds her dogs, eats the meal, and her caretaker eats the food. And guess what happens? 9 of those dogs die. 9 of the 12 dogs die. She goes, and they didn't die at the same time. She lost her 9 dogs from the 18th of July to the 1st of August. So they were not dying at the same time, but just, one after the other. She goes to the vet, and guess what the vets say? Aflatoxicosis. The dogs died from aflatoxin poisoning. From what the vet experts suspect, because there's dog food recall and there's all of this that's going on in the market with the dog food. But she then drops a bombshell. She tells them, I don't feed them dog food. I feed them Mealie meal. So how does this make sense? The vet says yes. That makes perfect sense because there's a direct correlation between Mealie meal and the dog food, raising a human health concern now because this lady also ate this Mealie meal. So the question is, why is she not dead like the dogs, none of our family members or a caretaker? So we reach out to a vet and a medical expert to explain to us why this is the case. And they say it's because there's two types of aflatoxicosis. One is something that Zambians actually consume quite consistently because we've also found out that Zambian groundnuts are reportedly have higher aflatoxins than the acceptable standard. So the chronic aflatoxicosis is where it builds up slowly and your liver gets damaged. And the description from the medical expert was that it's pretty similar to what happens to people who take a lot of alcohol. That's how people's livers get damaged from this chronic aflatoxicosis. So after some time, your liver starts presenting problems, similar to what happens to people that abuse alcohol. And your liver starts failing and you develop a cancer or any of those things. Then there's a version which is very present in the dogs, which is acute aflatoxicosis, where you take one meal and it's got so much toxins that it damages your liver almost immediately and you die. Can this happen in a human being? They say yes. There are some case studies that they're investigating at the moment that were actually very close. And there is a serious suspicion that it was aflatoxicosis where a family died. This situation was unrelated to what's going on at the moment, but it can be that severe. So that explains why there's this present situation. So then we then get worried. So what does that mean to the Mealie meal that is on the market? And so we decide to find out a bit more information. And it has been evident that this situation is not a hoax. There are some milling brands. The Millers Association of Zambia has confirmed this, and they're investigating it themselves. There are some brands on the market that offloaded Mealie meal that had aflatoxins that are above the permissible standard for consumption. And this is what resulted in this present situation. One of the supermarkets that we spoke with tells us that one of the milling companies tried to recall the Mealie meal from this specific supermarket, but the people had already bought the Mealie meal. The Mealie meal had already been bought by the people. And so they couldn't recall from this specific one, but they recalled from the others. People have been asking why we're not naming the brand. Well, because the experts are telling us that naming the brand in this situation would create the impression that this is the only brand that you shouldn't eat. And because it's got this toxin, which would be inaccurate. Because what they're saying is, with the investigation ongoing, it can be misleading for the public to suggest that there's some Mealie meal that is contaminated and there's some Mealie meal that is not contaminated when the investigation is not yet concluded. So there is contaminated Mealie meal, and this confirmation has been made, even by the Millers Association of Zambia, onto the market. But the investigation is ongoing, and to the extent of what is contaminated is not yet established. Where is the concern? This issue has actually been ongoing from about June. And I believe one of the worries, and it should be everybody's worry, is that if there's Mealie meal being recalled on the market, first of all, it's a responsibility of these institutions to notify the people, just like FarmFit did, that they're recalling. You have to make it public that you are recalling a product. Even if it's a car, you are recalling a car off the market, you have to tell the people that, you're doing this. It can't be done silently. FarmFeed recalled and told the public. But there's this recalling that is ongoing for human consumption of human food. And the recall is not done, a statement is not issued. And then, government is made aware of this. They're investigating. We've been told that the Zambia Bureau of Standards and ZCSA are investigating this. But there's no statement issued to that effect as well. And that's where the worry is, because people deserve to know. And I guess government, this is where government is being faulted, that they are aware of this, but they've not disclosed it. It's almost, and I guess the secrecy is what creates the impression that, you're trying to hush everything. This is where we are with the aflatoxicosis situation. We continue with this investigation, and an indication that we have now is that government is likely to issue a statement today or during this week to this effect, and explain what the situation has been and what's been happening in the background. But this information is only coming out now because the media is talking about it, we are talking about it, the people are talking about it, which is a bit of a worry, because a lot of people would have already consumed this Mealie meal that is being recalled. And we'll wait to hear what government is going to say about this specific situation. And speaking with some of the experts, it's nothing strange for some of these maize products to have these toxins. What is strange is letting them go to the market when they are way above the acceptable standard. I've taken a lot of time on this story because we needed to explain a lot of things, and I hope it makes sense. Let's move on to another story. And the other story is a very sad story of... In fact, before we do that, let's take a look at this family so you can understand. Darius Jr. Did reach out to Nora, and they had an interview with her. So let's take a look at this.
These dog cages were once filled with life and dog barks, but now they are empty and quiet as their occupants have died. One by one, 9 dogs died after allegedly consuming raw Mealie meal containing aflatoxin, which is a family of toxins that are produced by certain fungi found in agricultural products such as maize, groundnuts and cottonseed. Nora Small is one of the 9 dogs that died. Diamond Media has visited a residence in Lusaka's Kasupe area following an interview done on Friday last week, disclosing what had happened to her dogs. Miss Small could not contain her emotions of sadness of her loss, calling on authorities to thoroughly investigate the matter.
We loved our dogs. We've lost 9 dogs. It's like we've lost part of us. That's the way we feel. I don't know, we can replace dogs, but to bring up a dog from a puppy and, train them, live with them, it is very, very hard. We had our dogs for more than, some were like 8 years, 9 years, 5 years, 6 years. It's a long time. We would speak to our dogs, they would understand. You would tell the dog, sit down, he'll sit down. Go in your house, go in your kennel, he'll go in your kennel. Come in the house, he'll come in. Go out, he'll go out. So we are really, really, really in a bad situation. We miss them. As you can see, our kennels are open. We had so much activity here, which we don't have anymore.
Her daughter, Shana Valeb, has been left devastated. With tears rolling on her face, she narrates the bond she shared with the dead dogs, among them Buddy and Bobo.
For me, my dogs, I used to call them my kids. So it's like I would lose, like when I lost Atlas, I cried like crazy because when I lost Yuki, I had to go to school, so it kind of took my mind off the thing. But for Atlas, it was a Saturday, so it was like I was at home and I literally watched him die. So it was like I kind of lost a part of me, if that makes any sense. And there's nothing you can really do about it.
Unga uja tonsenze kudya andi pamene magara namba kudwala ine amene kamba na bwana dwala na ine noziwa kuti panchichitika.
We have reached out to the Mealie Association of Zambia, who have confirmed receiving reports of aflatoxin found in some dog food and mealie meal.
There have been reports, I can confirm that there's some dogs that died as a result of that. And it's been attributed to the high aflatoxin in some of the food, dog food that was prepared, that was processed. However, I must hasten mention that all the relevant government statutory institutions responsible for ensuring that there is food safety for all the processors and for all the foods that are processed locally as well as imported. I think I've been very aware and we've been very actively trying to follow through.
Diamond Media has been carrying out an investigation into this matter, which has come to the attention of the authorities. Government says a comprehensive statement will be issued on the matter on Monday, August 19, 2024. Darius Jonya, Diamond News.
Last week, we reported a Nimba fishing camp where 200 families lost their property due to an inferno. It was a fire that was started by one of them who was, because it's a fishing camp, so one of them was trying to smoke their fish, dry their fish using the smoking method, and it started a fire. 200 families lost their property. One person died, one child died from that. But several people are still hospitalized after sustaining serious burns. And there's livestock that has been killed and a child that's aside the various property that had been destroyed. And government is sending support to these families, and Hel Gajiwe has got the details in the story.
This is what has remained of Nimba fishing camp in Wengwa constituency of Monze district in Southern Province, on the highlands of Kafue River. Fire swept through the entire village, leaving hundreds stranded. One life was lost and the other one nursing serious burn wounds in Monze Mission Hospital. The tragedy has left these fire victims sad.
Almost 80,000, so elo na cash iya bilile mo 22,000.
Shop mandu abantu babangata ma business abantu babangata kama ni masola ma fridge nonani kafla lichile
kimwana bana bawo kibababiri kima twins ali mu mwenze masipata sesitona sa mwenze ndize ngatani kone kone ni moto ni kona.
Others have asked government for financial support to start up new businesses, as everything were gutted in an inferno.
Nepe unakwera muliro wayaka unakwera chepa mwamba ilo waenda pachishasha bishasha vyetu matunga hivi va mauzu nendeme unabebera muliro washoka manyumba yonse bantu banakango kupulumusa molo chimozi
temwe munga mweni lili soja shop pakapeti naye ndamani kwambo sakira sherwana na muliro mwao nasilira chape muli time che ngono muliro wakaye na wakava kumboni yonse
fridge masala fridge was so the government the
Hamsonde Ward Councillor says government through authorities in Monze district have aided the affected residents with foodstuffs.
We raised about 74,477,000 to come and help. That is the minimum they are getting, the salt, the salad, and all those things.
Meanwhile, one of the Wengwa residents, Richard Mwemba, visited the fire victims and assured them of supplying them with foodstuffs and blankets. To lighten the burden,
I would like to call upon the general citizen of Zambia to come through and assist in this matter. I'm sure we've heard the citizens, or rather the members of the public here in Yimba, of what they've been through, what they have lost. They have nowhere to sleep, they have no blankets, they have no food, and they have no houses. So I'm calling upon donor communities, I'm calling upon NGOs to come and assist in any way they can.
however, these residents have been left devastated with broken hearts following their loss in an inferno last week Thursday, where life was also lost. Helga Chibwe, Diamond News, Wengwa constituency, Monze district in Southern Province.
Over the last few days, you've seen resignations from the Socialist Party, and their party president, Freddie Membe, says his party is not in a crisis. There's resignations of some senior members from the party, and they're saying that it is normal in any organization for people to resign based on either members' choice or as a result of disciplinary action. He says that he has denied any accusations of him being dictatorial in his leadership. He was featuring on Costa yesterday. Let's take a look at this.
We had Mr. Sata. So what is existing in the Socialist Party? You're not answering my question.
No, I'm coming to that.
Are you a dictator? You have been accused of being a dictator. That is why you welcome friends, and if they disagree with you, you throw them out.
I've never thrown anybody out of the party.
Is there a crisis in the Socialist Party?
No, there's no crisis.
So why are these senior members leaving?
They are not even. We are firing some. It's an issue of discipline. Okay. There has to be discipline. Costa, you have run this station. People have come here and have left. Are you a dictator?
Maybe,
you have lost people here.
Maybe the company and the political party as a club, the rules will be different.
We have churches. It's not only political parties. We have churches in this country. People have left the Catholic Church as priests, as bishops. Is there a dictatorship that has made them leave? We are talking about my brother, Father Walia here. He left the Catholic Church. We have people in the politics today who were seminarians, they left. Every year we have priests who are leaving, not only the Catholic Church, but other churches. We have splinter groups within the churches, they go and form. Is there a crisis in the churches?
How true are you to what you're saying, Dr. Membe?
Now let me come to the issue where you're asking me if I'm a dictator, because you may appear like I'm evading the question. No, I'm not.
Today is burial day for 61-year-old Dr. Maureen Mwanawasa, who died on the 13th of August 2024. She has a state funeral today. It's national mourning, and she'll be put to rest today, the 19th of August 2024. She is wife of former president, late President Patrick Mwanawasa, Levi Patrick Mwanawasa, who died on the 19th of August in 2008. She dies at the age of 61, and it's a very interesting, sad situation, I must say. She dies at the age of 61. Her husband died just a few weeks before he turned 60. So they've pretty much died at about the same age. He died at 59, just a few weeks before he turned 60. She dies at 61. They die in the same month. She's being put to rest today, which is the 19th of August, the day that her husband died. Very, very sad situation, and it must be really heavy for the family to be commemorating the death of their father and putting their mother to rest on the very day. President Hijilema has committed to supporting the Mwanawasa family in all possible ways, and he said this yesterday.
Dr. Maureen Mwanawasa, wife to the late former and third Republican President Levi, will be put to rest tomorrow, Monday, August 19, 2024. She has been accorded a state funeral, and the government has released the program of her official funeral to be held at the Cathedral of the Holy Cross in Lusaka. Trained as a lawyer, the former First Lady will be given a valedictory ceremony at Zambia's Supreme Court before the funeral cortege carrying her body departs for the Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross. Several mourners have continued gathering at the funeral house. President Hakainde Hichilema is among mourners offering condolences and support to the family of the deceased and has made a commitment to do everything possible to assist the Mwanawasa children who have now lost both parents.
Condolences to the Mwanawasa and the Kakubo families, but also to the broader family, extended family. We all come from extended families. And so we sincerely are sorry about the loss of Mrs. Mwanawasa, especially that it was sudden. When people endure or go through a long illness, you do accept that sooner or later they may leave you. But her situation, her illness really deteriorated so quickly and shocked a lot of us, including myself, because not long ago, in fact, just a month and a half or thereabout, close to 2 months, we had dinner together during the visit of President Nyusi, President of Mozambique. She was in the state dinner there. And she was jovial as usual, and she was laughing at her table. I waved at her. She was seated with Madam Kaseva, and nobody ever thought that we would be mourning her today. So really, this is most unfortunate. But my message is that, she worked for this country. First, she worked for her family. She worked for the country. She worked for the vulnerable people that she supported through the Maureen Mwanawasa Community Initiative. And all of us miss her. Family, of course, the children who are relatively young, but we all miss her, those of us who had the opportunity.
Died at the age of 61, Dr. Mwanawasa will be put to rest on August 19, 2024, a day the country was supposed to remember the death of her late husband, Patrick Mwanawasa, who died on August 19, 2008. Rachel Mumba, Diamond News.
Finally, in Zambia, what a day. Zambia's boxing sensation Patrick Bado Chinyemba has become the inaugural International Boxing Association African flyweight champion after being crowned winner of his fight against Aloti Theophilus of Ghana. Chinyemba won via technical knockout in the fourth round at the IBA Champions Night held in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia on Saturday night. Chinyemba took to his Facebook page, dedicating his victory to his fans, saying it was not easy to fight, but was fortunate enough for him to win. Congratulations to him. He adds that returning to the ring to win following his exit from the Paris Games has fueled his hunger for more victories. He's got a bright future ahead of him, and I'm very happy that he has won, and many, many congratulations, felicitations to him. It's always good for the country to win because we know what it feels like to lose. So it's good to have the feeling of victory. So yes, let's keep the punches going. We should make a name for ourselves as the Fight Night champions. Yeah, I love to say that, Sounds good. Makes me feel like I can, ring announce boxing. I can't, but, I feel like I can. I can give it a try. Ladies and gentlemen, fighting in the right corner. Is it red? Right. Red. Is it? No, do they say the side or the color? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this WBC Boxing Fight Night. Fighting in the blue corner, Chief Visionary Officer of I think I've lost. I'm not going to make it. Yeah, no, okay. Anyways, that brings us to the conclusion of our podcast today. Very, very busy day. Very, very interesting times. And man, Zambia, what a day.